Hello, hello. Happy New Year. How's everyone doing? How's the year been so far? I've slept through most of it. Hey, Nix. Hey, Sapphire. Renan. How's everyone doing? You woke up at 5 p.m.? Nice. Yeah, I slept for the first 10 hours of the new year. I didn't get up until like 10 a.m. Spent the night working on your Project Zomboid mod, trying to rewrite the render engine. How's that gonna work? Might that have an effect on mod compatibility? It's cool though. It's a pretty hardcore thing to do as part of a mod. All right. So I think we sorted out all the corner stuff that we were running into. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. What's this all say? Are these just warnings? Oh, they're warnings. Yeah, we're looking pretty good, I think. Look, you're being positive. Not smart. Show them how it's done. All right, so I think all the shapes look pretty reasonable. Thing I really want to do next is, we talked about it yesterday, but just reverse the z-axis, because right now the z-axis goes down and I want it to face up, not down. Uh-oh. I wonder if windows are actually going to work in this game. Oh. Maybe a little. Maybe they'll work a little. Rhiannon, you were up until around 1, finally catching up on the final season of Stranger Things. Today's been a slow day working on your game. Nice. Yeah, I'm doing this. And then later, I'm going to go see Zootopia 2 with my girlfriend. It'll be fun. Go to the theater. A nice, lazy holiday. All right. So all this is good. The corner stuff is reasonable for right now. I think once we add the cutaway system back in, we'll see a lot more problems. But yeah, so what I want to do right now, the thing is, when you start at the top level. And if you want to add stuff, you got to go down. And like technically I could just reverse the order so that you start at the bottom and work your way up, but not actually change the coordinate system. But I think it makes a lot of sense to actually change the coordinate system. Because if you look at like this thing, if you look at a couple of things, if you look at what I want to do, which is this, you'll notice that the origin of a block space will be the bottom rearmost block. And for a lot of reasons, that's great. Because whenever you add to a block, it's likely that you're going to add to a block on top or in front. You could do otherwise, but that'll just be the most obvious thing to do, is to work from the back forward. and that'll be nice. It also means when we introduce resizable block spaces, if you just start placing, if you could start by placing a block anywhere where you have an empty block space, and then wherever you place that initial block will be the origin, and then you'll just add to it. It'll be nice. So we're going to flip that. And it will have the other benefit of kind of bringing us into a more normal coordinate space. So here's like a coordinate cheat sheet, coordinate space cheat sheet. Godot is right-handed with Y up in 3D. But because our space kind of derives from the diamond down isometric space, which means that X, it's hard to do this in a way that makes sense to you. X would go kind of this way, Y would go this way, and then for us, Z goes down. But what we want is Z to go up, which will bring us into, it looks like Blender space, actually, which is interesting. Good old Source engine. Source 2. So we're going to change our handedness a little bit, which will be nice. Next, basically Project Zomboid doesn't support 3D models that have shape keys or morph targets, so you're implementing it so that your mod can hook into your own process during the game. Check the current strength level and weight level, and depending on what they are, it creates a specific morph target for it. This is per player, and it modifies your equipped clothing and your character's body to that of the thin, fat, strong character model you set up in Blender. That's cool. Sounds easier than it is. I don't know, it sounds tough. It's very cool. All right, so reversing this is going to be no small feat. Probably what we do today. Let's turn the world upside down, yeah? Still listening to like cinematic music. Let's fix that. You were teamed it right as you were. That's funny. That's funny. All right. What do I need to do? I don't think I need to mess with any of the tile set format stuff. What I need to do is I need to reorient the block space, which might even just be renaming these objects. No, I actually have to reorder them, huh? That's all right. Let's do it. Let's just get out of the way. Why not? Still not convinced I'm going to call these tiers forever. Might go back to level, but whatever. Yeah, I guess I like tier. All right, so right now we're just incrementing the z-index by 1 each time. I don't know about that, but I guess that makes sense. And we're just going to also need to reposition them by... You know what? It's probably easier to just redo these. What is with the related animation tracks? Totally understand that. What is in here? What part of you has an animation track? Confusing. Could a tool script reorder, rename them? Probably. I've been criticized. I've been chastised for this before. I tend not to automate a task unless it's something I'm going to be doing regularly, and this is not something I'm going to be doing regularly. We just increment the z-index by 1, and we decrement the y position by 8. We just do that. And they're going to count up for me, so that's nice. But yeah, we could totally do this with this tool. But I kind of like these brain dead tasks. Keeps me strong with my times tables, you know? And it gives me time to read the chat and just hang out. Nix, the real cool thing with your process is you won't need to create the shape keys for each of the models, only a base character model. You can use some fancy magic, aka math, to make any clothing take in the shape of the character body. So any modded clothing, or at least most that are shape-fitting, work automatically with the mod. Nice. I'm gonna say I was really dumb and I didn't realize that Project Zomboid was like in 3D. I've never played it. I've only watched some people play it occasionally. You cheat and you write out your multiplications and let the editor do the math for you. Nice. Characters are 3D, so is most of the character objects, but the map itself is 2.5D. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is pretty easy. Yeah, I haven't had a game that's really consumed all of my time in a while. Every once in a while, I dip into something like Cosmeteer or Factorio or whatever. But it's not very often. And I usually don't stick with it for very long. Oops. $850 hours of Factorio. That's pretty impressive. Song always feels very Stardew Valley. I was thinking about we could try to do some like planning or projecting or something today since it's a new year, but then I also thought that would be inconsistent with how we normally work, which is to not plan anything. Nix, you have 3,500 hours in RimWorld. Around 6 if you count the non-Steam version. That's crazy. Yeah, you were playing at this point, you were playing a different game than what anyone else is playing when you play RimWorld. And I've seen that. You get to a point with a game where you kind of transcend reality. You end up playing this different game. But that's impressive. We'll do another RimWorld Let's Play at some point. I like the space expansion. I still haven't gotten very far in it. I do like it. I haven't played it since our last Let's Play of it. It's a great game, yeah. Just starting to get the hang of things, yeah, after a few thousand hours. That's wrong. This is kind of weird the way I've decided to do this, but I guess it's fine. Yeah, no, this is correct. Finish the tutorial. I made a mistake here. That is going to be hard to find. Thanks for the stretch, Sapphire. I have to start using the new stretches more now. Yeah, it is. It is a new year. It's the year to get our shit together. Same as every year. This time we're gonna do it though. You gotta hold back with your redeems. You're almost at 100k points. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to add some more redeems this year, some more channel point stuff, at least, especially for the regulars. Gotta figure out what it is though. Something fun that's not too distracting or derailing. Something that's still good value. I mean, eventually I'll have Steam keys I can just give out to people for stuff like that, but not there yet. 38 string streak, impressive. 5K to do 50 push-ups. More like 5K to do 5 push-ups. I don't have the kind of setup where I could demonstrate that I'm doing that. We'll turn the sit stand redeem back on soon, and then I think that'll be a fun back and forth way to sync points where someone can make me stand up and then they can make me sit down again. Just generally making me have to redo my setup here. We'll find some other stuff. I think the explain yourself channel point redeem idea from Rhiannon Journey was really funny. We'll do that too. -4, 64. It's interesting to know that the raw block space just drawn out like this is about 500 pixels tall. There's 2 of them here, aren't there? Uh-huh. Yep. Well, rip. That's fine. Fix that. Everything else seems fine. Someone distracted me and messed me up. You'll have to join me on the sitting standing, considering you have a desk that will allow you to do that. Nice. Yeah, me too. I don't use it very much. And my leg muscles the back of my leg muscles are actually getting they're having a hard time extending because they're not used to it because I sit all day. So yeah, I gotta stand a lot more this year too. It's not really a substitute for actually being in motion, but currently doing standing as your chair decided to give up. Oh no. You're forced to do it. It doesn't count if you're forced to do it, Nix. It was a Christmas miracle. Could I grab all of these and just add 8 to them? System, let me do that. I don't think so. Oh, maybe. Let's try it. It's the worst that could happen. No, that didn't do it. If I do this and then go up. Oh, no, it locked all of you to the same number. Okay. Wait, what happened? Only Christmas miracle you need is for your damn mod to work. I hope that works out. At that point, you will have changed the game. It'll be a game changer, if you will. All right, there we go. So we got that going here. So we got that reversed. And now we have to think about everywhere that the direction of the axis actually matters. Probably quite a bit in here somewhere. Yeah, the pan viewer up or down thing is going to be flipped. Board, the game board. Honestly, I think if I just reverse the direction of the input, I think we've got it pretty much. Yeah, if I just reverse the direction of the zoom, I think we solve it. We solve it on the Godot side at least. Try that. Maybe that's wrong, but we'll change it. All right, and then in here, there's going to be a lot to change. It's like almost time to rip out all the old part of the code from the previous system. I keep putting that off, but there's too much stuff just like accreting in here that we don't use. Block space dot maximum. Yeah, that seems right. Let's look at this thing. Yeah, it's all fine. We've changed our orientation here a little bit. All right, who really cares about this? Probably the editor. Maybe not. Oh, this is the system group, not the actual tool. I don't know. Let's run it and see where the problems are. That's how you figure it out. Okay, well, this is already wrong. I can tell. What's going on here? I kind of understand what's going on. I actually need this to be... I need this to move. As long as there's just one block, I need this whole thing to move. There's going to be a lot of shifting of blocks to account for new blocks that expand things, especially if you try expanding backwards. Which needs to be supported, but will probably be the less usual thing to do. Yeah, so this, I understand why it's doing this. It's because this is the very back of it. It's the back edge right here. It's actually kind of a weird spot for it. It's actually not quite centered, is it? Why is that? I feel like this is centered. What's up with that? That's centered. Oh wait, no, it's not. 0 is here. Okay, so we need to center this. So we need to go over by 16 and up by 4. Oh, I locked something. Thanks for the redeem. Sapphire, skip music track. Yeah, that sounds a little weird. I won't hear that again. A little weird is right. Why are you annoyed? Oh, hey. Hello. It's me, your solo viewer. Lol. You're the only one on YouTube, but yeah, I'll give you that. Thanks for hopping in. How's it going? Let me attempt to pronounce your name. Hojirik? Welcome in. How's it going? We're working on an FTL-like in Godot here. Just made a pretty big little refactor. We've flipped our Z-axis. Hello from the Twitch side. Thanks, Sapphire. Yeah, we're flipping our Z-axis from down to up. We're dealing with the consequences of that. How's it going? Happy New Year. Alright, is this centered now? Yes. Okay, good. That's nice. So what we should be able to do now is we should be able to just... Oh. Ah, you know what cares about the directionality? A lot of things, but especially... Especially the auto tiler. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. The auto tiler needs to reverse a lot of its... Anywhere we have a Z, we need to reverse it. Pretty much. Maybe not here. Maybe not for the format. But anywhere we're checking the actual spatial orientation of things. So anywhere we see like a like this minus Z needs to become a plus Z. That will also affect the cutaway system. Okay, this is nice because this was actually negative. The other two were positive. Now we're kind of in line. Now we're kind of... Everything is aligned. I think this is good. I think having the 3 axes come towards you, basically, so like a 1, 1, 1 vector would come from the far back corner towards the camera. I think that is optimal, actually, for what we're trying to do here in terms of a block editor. It does mean we need to flip a bunch of this. To the tune of Another One Bites the Dust. Another bug rises up. Oh my god. No. We're swatting bugs. Alright. Do not suffer the bug to live. I think changing things so you're doing the same operations to all members makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I like having that consistency for sure. Okay, I don't know if I love the automatic, the auto build. They're just constant auto build. I don't know how to change this. It's apparently the Godot plugin doing it, causing the auto build all the time. It's fine. We'll find it eventually. All right, I flipped this, right? Yeah, having the Z behave the same way as the X and the Y is like quite nice, actually. It's kind of weird that they were different. It made sense from like the way you would define a bridge, because the bridge is usually the first deck and then you count down from the bridge. We might still do that from like a player-facing standpoint. I don't know. It really doesn't have a lot of... It doesn't make a lot of sense to have numbers associated with that, but... I mean, then again, maybe the first deck being the lowest deck kind of makes sense in a way. I don't know. It doesn't make sense from a naval tradition standpoint, I think, based on what I've read, but whatever. I always thought Star Trek hewed a little too closely to all the Navy stuff. I understand that they needed some kind of like some basis. All right, now we got to change all the auto tiler functions here where we see. So yeah, like this minus YZ now needs to be minus Z plus vector 3i. No, this needs to be a plus Z. Minus Y plus Z. Yeah. I agree, Sapphire. The code doesn't need to go, doesn't need to follow, doesn't need to be as an, it can be intuitive for what it is, and we can use it. We can present something different to the player for sure. I think the player will think about it in terms more in terms of named compartments, but who knows? Maybe not. Sorry if I'm being quiet. I'm a little under the weather. So I'm just preserving my voice a little bit. But we're also just chilling. But yeah, I've been getting sick a lot more this winter than normally happens to me. I'm either just it's either been a very particularly cold and wet winter, but I'm also just maybe getting old. Who's to say? Sapphire, just a chill stream today. You're just zoning out. Watching and digging out a trail chamber in Minecraft. Oh, nice. Some Minecraft. Oh, hey, Max Deviant. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Happy New Year's. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a nice start to the year here. And if not, you know, it can only go up from here. Digging out a trial chamber. Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know what a trial chamber is. The last version of Minecraft I played would have been like a vanilla, like Java version from like a decade ago or longer. Happy New Year! Thank you, Max Deviant. Welcome in. It's good to have you here. All right, I just flipped these, right? Yeah. Because positive Y is now negative Z. Yeah. Because that makes sense. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, corners are all set. Now I gotta swap the edges here. Hey, Sonicron, how's it going? It's going good. Happy New Year. We're flipping the vertical axis of our game, and we're swapping out a bunch of stuff because of it. So we're doing a little bit of a refactor here today. New year, turning the world upside down. We're generally working on an FTL-like, kind of isometric 2D FTL-like, which has a bunch of interesting 2D, 3D. It's a 3D game rendered in isometric 2D. So it has a lot of interesting visibility issues that we're, just kind of perpetually trying to solve. This is where we're at. Yeah, how's it going? How's it going with you? How's your year been? FTL-like? You thought it was an auto tiler tool? I mean... Nix, you're destroying a whole apartment building sinks. Oh my god. Microwaves, toilets, and showers. All to max out your metalworking skills. Oh, right. In Project Zomboid. I didn't get the Project Zomboid part first. I was like, what are you doing, Nix? Good. Max, you stumbled across... you stumbled across my YouTube VODs. Pretty cool to have such an extensive backlog of someone building a good game in Godot. You're trying to learn it yourself at the moment. Trying to figure out how best to use it in a more programming-centric way. Oh, you're using Godot Rust. Fun. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool that GD extension can hook into kind of whatever. Eventually, I think C# will work like a GD extension too. Right now, it's kind of a different process, and that's what we use. But yeah, we have our own simulation layer. We're kind of mostly just using Godot as a rendering user interface, like build pipeline thing. Like, we're using the engine, but the whole simulation layer is running out in this separate little C# domain that we've written up that uses its own little primitive entity component system and everything, just so the simulation can be very lightweight. But yeah, I'm scared of C++, so that's why we're writing this in C#, which is not the language you would want to do, but that's awesome that you found the VODs. Yeah. Yeah, persistence and consistency is really all that's that. And that's kind of what you got to do. You probably would be using Godot if they didn't focus so much on GDScript. Yeah, I mean, it's GDScript is good. I like it. When I'm doing a game jam, and we try to do a few game jams a year, I just use GDScript. It's tightly coupled to the engine, so it's pretty fast as long as you're not doing just raw scripting stuff. If you're mostly just trying to interact with the engine, GDScript's pretty good. But yeah, I get it. It's a little weird. Pretty much every time I sit down to write GDScript, I have to remember how GDScript works. I never remember it, and I write it so rarely. I'm a little concerned that at least this cares about the ordering of the layers. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does, though. Let's finish our rewrite. If I lose my place during this, there's gonna be problems. But yeah, welcome in. What do you use, Sinocron? But yeah, Max. I don't know if anyone should try to learn Godot from me, but we're all here to learn. So this negative z needs to become a plus vector 3i.z. Yeah, I agree. You're writing your own engine in Rust. Oh, shoot. Nice. All right, all the Rusters are here. I think Rust is cool. I think Bevy is cool. I've known a few people who picked up Godot and then just switched to Bevy. I'm like the opposite. I like don't want to think about memory and concurrency and all this stuff. We have a very primitive memory management and concurrency model here. It's good enough for my uses, but yeah, that's cool. I think Rust is cool. I just love that Godot can hook into that stuff. You can kind of write your Godot in whatever you want with, you know, caveats, with important caveats. You tried using Bevy, you weren't a fan of the scheduler? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really have a complicated scheduler or anything. I used Unity for a long time. The Unity job system is chef's kiss. That's like the peak of that engine. I got into their data-oriented tech stack ECS stuff too, which is kind of why I'm doing an ECS here in a language that is not correct for it. Whatever you're comfortable with, right? That's how you'll make progress. Working in what you're comfortable with. You can kind of do whatever with whatever, ultimately. But yeah, that's awesome. Interesting how you attract the people that make things from scratch, like an OS or a game engine. Yeah, I have no idea why. I'm like the opposite of that person. I have my lines drawn in the sand. Like I don't like adopting plugins and stuff early. Like I get uncomfortable when I accept too many dependencies early on in a project or an engine. So I'm not usually the kind of person that will just pick up a plugin that's good enough. I do like to write my own stuff because I think it's important to understand what you're using. But maybe that's why, because I'm the opposite. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I mean, maybe they see someone doing C# Godot and they're like, this person likes being weird and doing things their own way. Or maybe it's just random. Maybe people that write their own engines need a distraction from the choices they've made. I don't know. I always joke that, you know, when you go to make something, you have to pick a starting point somewhere between the finished product and, you know, the birth of the universe. You either start from scratch, in which case you have to invent the whole universe, or, you know, you pick up an off-the-shelf solution, or somewhere in between. All right, we flip these. All right, do we care about the orientation of the world in this mode? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what this did. And again, you are making your own auto tiler, so it's not that far off. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so if I do this and then I go up. Okay, so the camera moves down, which is a problem. Oh, we're heading into ads in a second, people. Hold on to your ads. Okay, so there's still, something is still wrong. On the X face. Yeah, there's something very wrong on the X face. And that is the X face. Positive, that's the positive Y edge. Sorry, I have tile space and then I have like game space, and they're like different things. Which is why I say different axes interchangeably in a way that is probably confusing. This is probably it, right? I forgot to flip these too. Yeah. But I appreciate everyone starting the year off here with me. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're relaxing. Or if you're working, I hope that the work is coming easy. You got a whole year ahead of you, you know? Don't... The camera shifting down as the selection goes up is deeply disorienting. But it looks like we fixed the auto tiling issues. Yeah, that's super disorienting. This is kind of what I want to achieve ultimately, is this kind of like almost like 3D printer thing where you're drawing on top of the blocks you've placed already. I kind of want that to be the vibe, the feel of building in this. Okay, looks like all of the auto tiling rules translated correctly. Kind of just testing what I know to be like problems spaces. I don't know if I love that. What's happening right there? I might add an I already added a exception to this. Oh, the exception's not working. Must not have done the corners totally correctly. This is disorienting. Okay, so some of the corner cases aren't totally right anymore. That's because they flipped. That makes sense. All right, we're in ads. Looks really good. Thank you so much, Sinacron. I'll be right back. 2-minute bio break here. Thanks for hanging out. Happy New Year. All right, we're back. Thanks for waiting. I'm refreshed. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to keep the stream going here. All right. Yeah, that fixed that. So why did the corner thing? So the corner thing is weird because we need to flip the cases there. What was that? That was, where's the extra case? Is it here? Yeah, it's here. So this, so positive Y. So I need to actually just move this to the other Y, I think. Actually, let's just get rid of this and look for some of those circumstances where we want to override some of the corner behavior. I'm fixing that camera shift thing. The camera shift thing is going to drive me insane. All right, so why? So I thought I flipped the input. Yeah, zoom in should be -1, zoom out should be 1. Which, yeah, I know is not intuitive, but it's currently what we're doing. Let's look at the camera script. Target. Yeah, I thought flipping the sign would do this for us. Who actually calls this, though? Is it the game script? Call zoom in or out direction. All right, where's the input getting processed? Oh, is it not? Oh no, it's hooked right back out here, I think. Yeah, I thought I flipped this. I don't totally understand, but you know what we can do? We can just use the other constant. And the offset might be wrong. No, the offset should be right. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. Let's see what we get. I've so long ago given up on like being able to like simulate what's going to happen in my head. Like, let me just try it. Okay, so yeah, now this is much better because our origin is back here, so we can drag it out. And then what we can do is we can just start building. So we just build stuff up 3D printer style, which I think is nice. And then we have some corner stuff we want to deal with. So I don't think we want the bottom. So I think we want this to go -x plus z plus y. Okay. Let's see how that looks. If it helps, you can't simulate anything that happens in my head either. Yeah, that's true. Well, What's all the error? What's all the warnings for this? Possible null reference. Kind of weird. Hmm. All right. Your CPU needs an upgrade. All right, so we're going to flip these corner considerations around. Positive x, so it would be negative x, positive y is where we're interested in applying this. So it would be plus, it would be minus vector 3i dot x plus vector 3i dot yz.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
Oh, wait. Minus y plus xz. No, that's not right. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, that is right. CPU, memory, everything for you. Of course, the RAM prices are skyrocketing just like the GPU. Upgrading yourself is practically impossible. I know, right? Just gotta wait for your brain, your chip interface, which I'm sure will have no side effects. Minus x plus vector 3i dot yz. You've practically given up on turning yourself into a cyborg at this point? Yeah, the economics of it must be tough. Don't give up hope. I'm sure there will be some subsidized human testing at some point. All right, let's see if we like that new corner behavior. One of the side effects will be the denial of side effects. That would be smart. That'd be smart. That'd be a good design.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
Now, what we need to do next is we need to remove the scroll to like change. Okay, so that didn't do anything. That's interesting. So this is your, for the Y side, this is your negative X positive Y. Oh, I put this in the wrong area. No, no, I didn't. Negative x positive y, negative x. And not. Oh, the not, I think, is wrong. Oh, no, the not is right. What is going on here? Why didn't that do anything? Oh, something. I did this wrong. It's corner negative x, negative y. That'll be your lower left corner. I did this wrong. See if that works. I don't know how I'm going to test that exactly, but okay. Oh, shoot. Changing that changes a lot. Unless I... Hold on. Well, just imagine the kind of personalized ads you would start getting. What, once they have a chip in your brain? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so my problem is that the 2D tile space is now out of sync with the 3D block space. And that's okay. I just need to think through that a little bit. Because in 2D space, Y is still down. But in our 3D space, Z is up. So what does that mean for how the auto tile mapping interacts with this block system? Okay. Yeah, I don't think anything about the formatting needs to change, but I need to be careful when I'm doing this stuff. Let's go back down to the edges. Although the edges don't seem to have anything wrong with them, so that's good. Let's look at the negative y edge. Negative y. So negative y is upper edge. And so you add the Z. Yes, that is good. This stuff doesn't really care about that. Yeah, I think all the edgewise stuff is correct. It's the corners. The cornering is wrong. Yeah, I started flipping these around, not realizing yeah, okay. So that's your upper right corner. So you do need to say plus vector 3i dot c. Because you're looking at your upper left corner. Or I guess your upper right corner. You're looking at your negative corner. Negative x, negative y. Minus plus. Yeah, okay. I feel like we might end up with something similar to the psi core if brain chips become a thing. Once people could go into your mind. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be more like scanners. The Cronenberg movie, obviously. Actually, I guess there's not another Scanners. Okay, and this is the one that I want to have this extra piece of logic here. This one. And so it would be minus y plus z plus x. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I think this is right now. Let's take a look. Okay, so the bottom one is good. I like this. I like the meat in the middle deal. I don't like what's happening up here. So we need to change the plus x negative y branch. But I like what's happening here. We've trimmed off the corner at the bottom. That's good. That's good. And we are drawing it here. That's also good. What? Oh, we're on the wrong. Yeah, we really need that fake raycast input thing because I'm so often in the wrong spot. What we should be doing is casting a ray from the camera through the mouse and figure out which block we hit. And if we don't hit a block, it doesn't matter. Or not if we don't hit a block. If there is no block to hit, then we're just, wherever our cursor is the origin of a new block space. And we only have to start worrying about it once we start adding blocks to it. And that works for building ships because the ships are not going to be, they need to be connected. They need to be one contiguous space. So I think that's an okay requirement. But yeah, let's get rid of these kind of orphan pixels over there. So that is, I said that was the positive x, negative y. Yeah. Oh, I'm being in the wrong spot again. So positive x, positive y. That is definitely going to bite me in the ass more times, more than I'd like. But you know, that's Godot. 2D. The enemy's gate is down. Plus, it's going to be plus xy minus z. Oh, hey. EBC DCBG. Is there any specific reason you prefer C# over GDScript? Just personal preference? Yeah, it's experience. I spent a long time working in Unity, like over a decade, using the Unity engine as a hobbyist, so it's just a familiarity thing. I want to ask whether you're using Godot 4X and if you update the project version when new versions roll out. I generally do. Like our whole system relies on us being on 4.3 because we're using tile map layer, which solves a lot of problems for us. All of this rendering is being done with tile maps. It's a 2D rendering of a 3D world. But yeah, how's it going? Happy New Year. Sorry if I didn't see your questions for a while. All right. Okay, that's good. No more orphaned pixels there. It looks good. What's going on up here? Yeah, nothing there. Question, though, should this be doing anything? I think the answer is no. So this is rendering an edge. And it's rendering the edge. It might actually be rendering the corner. No, it's rendering the edge. So we got to get rid of that edge as well. It's going over by too many pixels. And it's rendering the edge because the block behind it is a middle hull, but it's a outer hull. So I understand why. We need to add an exception. So we need to add an exception to the positive edge, positive x edge. And we need to look plus 1 plus xy. Okay. So positive x edge needs to look at the plus xy neighbor. All right, has edge positive x. We need to look here. We need to say and not block tags all key dot xyz plus vector 3i dot xy dot has block dot tags dot hull. Is it an and or an or? I think it's just an or. In this case, it's an or. Oh, no, it is an and. I'm dumb. Okay. See what that looks like. It would be great to get the cutaway system working again with this. Should probably do that before I do the new input model, because that will matter a lot. All right, so if we do that, that looks good. We're not getting that extra line on the inside there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Wonder if there's any other weird cases we should look at. I think this is correct. Yeah. That's correct. What about if I do this? That's good. That's technically not correct, but I think I prefer this. Actually, you know, that's good. That's good. I like that. I'm pretty happy with these rules as written here. The real question is the mask work the same way, or is there an error? Oh, yep. Notice the gray pixel there. Mask is not behaving the same way. Why? It seems to be the only issue with it, though. Okay, so what is the mask doing? It's looking at the negative X, positive Y neighbor. It's deciding not to draw a corner. Curious. Excuse me. Has corner negative X positive Y or not mask dot contains. I see. I see. I see why this is happening. You been enjoying the stream? Happy New Year. To me too. Thank you. I always forget how to pronounce your name. E, I guess, is the easiest way to say that. Thank you. Hope you have a great start to your year here. Yeah, so we're not getting the corner because the mask doesn't care about the mismatched hull type. Because you can see when we call this in and the mask is not null, as in we have like a selection mask or something like that, then we call the function again without the mask and without a hull type because the mask doesn't care about that part. And that is interesting. It's causing that corner to malfunction. Hey, Fusionist. Happy New Year. How's it going? What are you up to? I'm going to look at this again. I know what's wrong. I just don't quite know how I want to solve it. Oh, uh-oh. You're doing good over there? 2026 is the year of Fufu? Hell yeah. Hey, NYC.net. Crystal Castles vibes? Nice. Yeah, the music's good. How's it going? Happy New Year. All right, so yeah, there's this, it's really hard to see, but there's a gray pixel here, and it's because the mask doesn't pay attention to hull types, which makes sense. But it means we need another condition that will trigger that corner, this little corner pixel to get drawn. And we'd want to draw it even if we're doing something like this, right? Even if we're doing like this. Yeah. So actually all we want to know if there's a block there and whether or not the block is part of the mask. All right, that's easy. We just take this, add it down there. And we want to check the minus y plus X plus Z. Yeah, it's the same block. Yeah. Although here, so we want to draw that. We want to draw it in either case. Let's see if that works. E, are you using a shader to indicate the tiles that are being interacted? You remember not being able to find a way to apply separate material to separate tiles belonging to the same tile map layer? There is a... I've been told that there is a way to do that. The way to apply a shader per tile. I don't know how. You just ended up duplicating an empty layer to highlight the hovered tile. Yeah, that's kind of how we do it. So we have a number of tile map layer groups. One group is responsible for just handling the regular old opaque tiles. Another group is responsible for handling the input mask, which is like basically everywhere that's like under a selection while you're doing it. And then we have another layer that handles the selection once it's been made. And so that lets you do stuff like you could have this selection and then you could shift click and it will show you what you're adding to the selection and then add it. So yeah, we used 3 different tile map layer groups to achieve the same effect. So these are less outlines than they are like inlines. And we're just using semi-transparent tiles to do it. Kind of a brute force way to do it, but it's all right. And it helps a lot with the complexity of the auto tiler, just to be able to do it that way. All right, so now if I do my selection mask, what kind of behavior do we see? Still nothing. Annoying. Negative X, positive Y, yeah? Is that not the layer that I'm on? Oh no, we want to ask if there is a block there. Oops. We want to say, or there is one there. That should give us the right behavior. Yeah, it's performance intensive a little bit. We basically have a tile map layer group. We basically have 3 tile map layers for each block face. So if you look at a block tier here, we have the X face. We have the Y face. And we have the Z face. We have a layer for each of those, right? And then each of those form a single tier. And our space consists of 64 block tiers stacked on top of each other. And it eventually, it leads to, we have a buildable area that is a 64 by 64 by 64 block space. And we can render anything within that. Technically, you could cheat this part and you could do some magic. Like you could analyze the space and you could achieve this with 3 tile map layers because you would have to solve some transparency and opacity issues. You'd probably maybe need 6 tile map layers, but we could do some analysis because ultimately you're presenting a single image. So you don't actually need to have the block tiers separately. But at the end of the day, I actually don't notice a performance issue. Because we have almost 200 tile map layers, but I've never seen an issue with that. From what I've heard, people don't really run into tile map layer issues based on raw numbers until you start reaching into much higher counts. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when everything starts actually running at scale. If we have to, we'll put in some kind of like occlusion culling analysis, and we'll actually ultimately draw everything to a much smaller number of tile map layers. But I'm not gonna. Don't add complexity until you need to, right? Because that would add a lot of complexity. Because I'd have to determine the draw order of all the tiles and overlapping and transparency, and it'd be annoying. So right now we're just kind of brute forcing it by just adding more tile map layers. All right, we were going to test this, right? But yeah, I appreciate your interest in it. We have a Discord. There's a link on the channel page. If you ever need, you know, ever want help from the community with Godot stuff, or just show off what you've been working on, an invitation applies to everyone. All right, let's see what happens now when I draw this mask. Still nothing. Dang. What is happening here? Oh, is it negative x? It's negative x plus y. Here it's negative x plus y. This is in the wrong direction, isn't it? So minus y plus x minus z. So it's plus x and minus yz. And then this one is the y face one is minus x xz plus y. It was raining a lot this morning. It was nice. I walked around in the rain for a while on my way back from breakfast. Felt good. Felt like I was walking out into a clean, new world. That nice after the rain feel. All right, let's see if we are achieving the effect that we have been looking for here. How symbolic of me? I know, right? All right, yes. Now we're getting the effect we want. No missing pixel there. All right, super consistent. We love that. Super consistent behavior. Let's check the other side real quick just to make sure. All right, I'm very pleased with this. only question is, and this actually might help a lot, is it, do I want to like cast shadows down from blocks higher up? If I do, no, I probably don't. I do from wherever the player cursor is, if it's suspended over space. Yeah. All right. Well, we got the easy stuff out of the way. Shoot. Now what am I gonna do? I guess we can start looking at this new cursor input. Add more mechanics, shadows it is. I do want a shadow. I used to have this. We'd have a shadow that would cast down from the little, I call it the hover block, but it's like the block that like follows your cursor around. And that made it really easy to determine where you were in 3D space. Oh, it made it easier. But what I actually want to do is I want to switch, because right now our Z index is locked. So our Z, quote unquote, our Z index and our arrangement vertically are the same thing to me. And right now the scroll wheel moves you up and down along that axis, but you're locked into it, which is arguably good when you're building things. It will not be good when you're playing, but I kind of want to try another method where you're actually casting a ray into the scene and you're figuring out what surface you hit. And then you'll figure out that. And then if you scroll forward or back through that, all it will do, it will change the distance of that ray. And it will essentially all it will do is position you before or behind it. What it will probably do actually is move you along through the list of contact hits. I want to do something like that. And that won't be that hard. I've done something like that before in 3D, more than 2D, but oh, wait. Is this right? Do we like this? Is this correct? Yeah, I suppose it is. Suppose so. Okay. Yeah, the auto tiler I'm pretty pleased with. We really simplified the auto tiler with this new block composition. It's crazy how much simpler the auto tiling rules are. Here were the old auto tiling rules. Just for one edge. All of this. And now for one edge, it's just this. Great. There will be more rules. We haven't accounted for cutaways, and that's where most of the complexity comes from. But still, it's a good improvement. I'm getting close to feeling comfortable enough with deleting the older method. I like to keep stuff around for comparison's sake. Which I know that's what version control is for, but I like to keep it around so I can actually simultaneously test it. Yeah, we used to have a projected shadow. I think I could just turn this back on. The only thing is we would need a layer. We would need to talk to one of the layers for it. We'd have to decide what layer to put that on. Yeah, hopefully it wouldn't be its own layer, but it might. It actually might end up being that. Assuming that's what we do. Yeah, if I look at, I think I have a mock-up for this. Let's see if I do. I forgot what I called it, but I know I have a mock-up for it. It uses the old block composition, which is fine for an example's sake. What was it called? It's not the perspective comparison. Something about order. Is it the whole face mapping? Maybe. Oh no, cursor tile priority. That's what we want. So this is... Wow, this is hard to read. So this is how it was before. Back when we had the big bulky blocks. And so your cursor you would need to go through a series of checks. You would essentially need to check if your cursor was over this tile technically, because the way the wall extends up, you would need to do a bunch of checks to determine where you are hitting that. I kind of want to redraw this correctly. So we want to actually use the side panels too. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, we'll need to do something similar. Let's try this again, I guess. Or maybe let's, yeah, I don't know, whatever. Make a new layer, I'll make a background layer. I'll call this the compound block layer. It's the wrong. Can I just get like the default palette? Can I just load the default palette? There we go. Add a new layer here. I don't know how I'm going to illustrate this in a diagram, but I think I'll be able to figure it out. So we're essentially looking at what the priority is going to be for the blocks that are layered on top of each other as the cursor moves through them, or scans through them, I guess. We need to consider the non-overlapping nature. So these tiles are 8 tall. Surprised you were here the whole time? Oh, no one expects Arnio Metsuri. How's it going? Happy New Year. Oh, we're heading into ads. Hold on, everyone. All right, so we have our block. I don't think I can illustrate the same thing here, but maybe I can. Not really. So each block has 3 faces. We have to think about them differently a little bit. So there's a priority that we have to observe. If we're going to scan into here and figure it out. Call this the cursor block. We'll say this like, we'll call this like the X block. So we'll put another block in front here, right? What we're going to do is we're going to make this like semi-transparent. It's going to make it really hard to see, but that's okay. What we'll do is we'll also, before I made the layer semi-transparent, I probably should have gotten rid of these X shapes. How's it going, Arnie? When are we getting our first progress update of the year, huh? Oh, this is annoying a little bit. How is this wrong? Is this like too long? I bet it is. It is. Great. That's what you get for doing stuff by hand. So we like seriously reduce the opacity here. So there's going to be this like spiraling like priority situation. I'm going to get rid of the X marks on here maybe. I actually don't know how to illustrate this very well. We have to think about this somehow. About the prioritization. Hey! It's okay. Hi, Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for hopping in here. This is really hard to reason about. So if you have this cursor block, there's going to be priorities about what block is ahead of it, right? So like if you're mousing over the top face and there happens to be a block here, you could actually be mousing over the X or the Y faces of the other block. All right, now you got to make some sensor shots, figure out what they do. Yeah. Yeah, the idea here is to change the input model so that when you're mousing around like this, your cursor will sit on top of another surface. It will figure out what the surface is, and it will show that. It will draw that. Whereas right now we have to lock in like a 3D printer. We lock into a particular, well, not like a 3D printer, but right now we lock into a particular Z index, and that's what we draw on. But it would be much cooler if you could have some kind of surface detection stuff for this. That's cool. Is this similar to the unpacking game? It's like an isometric 2D game, which is kind of like unpacking. But yeah, what we're doing is we're doing an FTL-like. We're doing like kind of a spaceship management game. That's what we're building with this. This is a tool to like build the ships that we're working on. And I want to change how this input works. So there's almost 3 layers of priority. Let's do it. Let's arrange them this way rather than the nonsense that I was doing up until now. Let's think of them as trios of, well, maybe not trios, but let's think of them as layers of priority. So these 3 actually all have the same priority. Why I kind of want to copy that, put that there. Copy this, put this here. So we'll call this like priority 3. This is actually going to be priority 4. I'm going to remove the opacity thing or the transparency thing. I'm going to get rid of these stupid little X's. They're actually kind of okay. How did you learn pixel art? The image looks so nice. Oh, thank you. I just tried a little. I'm honestly not an artist. This is all, I would consider all of this pixel art. The thing that helped me was to go really low resolution. That's what helped me. I have some other pixel art games on my itch. They're all very low resolution. And I like it because it makes it really obvious to me when I'm making a mistake. Hey, Ant, how's it going? Hey, the Ant in the house. Happy 2026. Yeah, to me, low resolution has been what's helped me learn. You like the art and bare necessities? Hey! Yeah, we got 2nd place in art for that. That was my first time doing like character animations and like drawing nature and stuff. And yeah, same deal. Low resolution. I really appreciate that. Because, yeah, I'm not a trained artist. I mean, I'm arguably not a trained programmer either. I'm kind of a generalist. I wasn't trained in any of this. This is all kind of hobbyist stuff, right? Oh, yeah, I was doing this. So this is priority 4. So if you think of them in, like, groups, in, like, little 2x2 groups, Each little 2x2 groups would have a priority order. So this would be the lowest priority. This tile in the back here. Each tile in front of it would have a higher priority. And then there would be another set in front of that. Let me draw the priority set in front of that. So this is be priority 1. Priority 2. Am I thinking of this right? Is there actually only 2 sets of priority? No, there are more than that. Yeah. So priority 2 would be this. 100% opacity. 100% opacity. Work with the line here. And reminder that low-res pixel art can be harder than high-res because each pixel is more important in low-res. That is true. A lot of people do say low-res is harder because you have a representation problem. But for me, since I don't really understand anatomy and all this other stuff, I have a very rough understanding of all this stuff. Is this priority 1? This is wrong. On the wrong layer. Wrong layer, Dave. Strikes again. That's fine. We can put it here, actually. But yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. What's my view on AI? I don't use it. That's my view on it. Raccoons are great. There you go. That will be, for the sake of Sapphire and everyone else in the chat, that will be the extent of my answer. We've had some fairly contentious discussions about it before. But yeah, I'm also not trying to yuck anybody's yum, you know, whatever. So, you know, people who feel that they get value from it and it's a net positive for them, I'm not going to contradict them. What in the... Oh yeah, priority. All right, so this is priority 1, this block in front. Behind it is going to be a set of 3 blocks that are drawn off of this one. Oh, Lord. Let's talk about labor unions. Funny guy. Yeah, the idea that AI is going to democratize anything is deeply misguided. And that is all I'll say about that. Any discussion about the application of it will just evolve into a discussion about the many and varied ills of capitalism, especially late stage capitalism. And I feel like we've all read that story before. My positive spin on it is that this community is about celebrating the creativity and individual contributions of game developers. Is this right? What's happening here? Why does this feel like 3 pixels worth of outlines? Ah, because I messed up, right? Just late stage capitalism mean there is an end of capitalism? That is an open question. You were just thinking we might need a raccoon emote for any time we go on an AI rant. You know, we'll have to make a jam game that features a raccoon first. But you know what? That might happen. So I'll be ready if it does. Let's get the color in first, actually. All right, priority 2. Priority 1. So I just need priority 1. And to do that, I can just take priority 4 and copy it. Or, yeah. What the heck? What the heck just happened? Okay. Well, I don't think I'm doing this in the right order. There we go. All right, so here's how it would work, right? So the tile in the back here is lowest priority, priority 4. The 3 tiles in front of it that share one face each would have a higher priority. That's priority 3. This is in a 2x2 grid, right? Then the 3 tiles in front of those would have priority 2. And then the tile catty corner, not catty corner, but you know, diagonal in terms of 3D. The closer tile that would otherwise occupies the same space as the back tile would be priority 1. So we would just need a little, for whatever tile we consider, we would want to consider the neighbors in front of it. So we almost want to scan, well, we could scan front to back, or we could do back to front. I kind of want a list of all the hits anyway, just for the scroll wheel stuff, so we can scroll through the depth of it. I kind of want that. Let's think about that for a little bit. We got some chat to catch up on here. Do you do game dev as a hobby? Yes, I have a day job. No one pays me for this. Except the very sweet contributions of members of the community through, you know, subs and bits and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I have a day job. We have some stuff. We have some ideas for some commercial games using this tech that we're working on, but we're hanging out. Nix, an FYI, it's midnight. Usually you already stopped by this point. Not that you want to hurry me or anything. You don't have to watch the whole stream, Nix. Also, midnight is early for you, isn't it? Yeah, I start whenever I have a day off, like today. Today's, for me, is New Year's Day, so I didn't have to work. Whenever we have a day off, I generally get started late. I usually start an hour later than normal, so sorry for the people for whom this is very late. That's just kind of what happens. So the same thing's going to happen on Saturday, probably. Do I stream every day? I try to stream Tuesdays through Saturdays. Usually we would be done already. Today I'm doing about 12:30 to 3:30 my time, Pacifically. Normally I would be doing an hour earlier, so we would be like 11:30 to about 2:30. Maybe 11 to 2 if I'm on top of my shit. But yeah, we do 5 days a week. Barring, conflicts of scheduling and stuff. Nix, you're still going to be up for a couple hours, but still, it felt off having me stream for so long. Yeah, no, I started late. I start late on the days off. Hydrate. Thanks, Nix. I'm actually drinking water right now. I'm a bit under the weather. I can feel it. Zao, thank you for the follow. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, if it's like Zio or something. You'll be working over these hours? I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, we do a Saturday stream, so hopefully maybe you can catch us every once in a while. We do have VODs over on YouTube, but I know it's not the same. I should be drinking tea then. I will make some tea. I just got back from breakfast before I went live. And at breakfast, I had coffee and orange juice and stuff. So I was kind of beveraged out when I went live. Do I work night shifts? I'm actually very lucky. My workplace is letting me kind of do these split shifts. So I work in the morning, my time, for a few hours, and then I come and stream. And then I work for a few more hours in the afternoon or early evening. So I kind of split my workday into 3 chunks of like day job, game dev, day job. It's like a day job game dev sandwich. Dang Good Game is raiding with a party of 4. Raid alert. Battle stations. Repel borders. Dang Good Games. How are the games? I hope they're dang good. How was the stream? Happy New Year. First raid of the year here. I don't know if I follow you. I do not. Let's fix that. Dang Good Games. Thank you so much. How are things going? JS Trunk, thank you for the follow. This is Digital Iliad. We were working on an FTL-like in Godot. It's kind of an isometric 2D take on spaceship management. Decent day. You're making some pixel art. Fitting it in here and there. Nice, nice. I can't wait to check out some of your pixel art. Normally we're done streaming by this point in the day. But we're still going. We're still going for a little while longer here. Yeah, we've been working on an auto tiler tool and block editor tool. I can show it to you. Pretty rudimentary, but it's working for our person. FTL-like, you love to hear it. Yeah. It's going to be a little more vertical. So what we're doing is like making a system where we can build up these compartments. We can build up these 3D ships that get rendered in isometric 2D. So it's kind of an interesting challenge doing stuff this way. My cutaway system doesn't work yet, so I can't show you like what the rooms look like. I broke a bunch of... We did a big refactor and we broke a bunch of stuff that we need to bring back. But yeah, this is kind of our build system here. We don't have our cutaway system that would normally let us look into this room now that we built it. But we'll get that back up soon here. But yeah, we've kind of switched over to kind of an almost like a 3D print system where you kind of just add stuff, build stuff up. Love it. You've been here in a bit. Made progress. Yeah, we've made progress. It's slow but steady. We redo a bunch of stuff. We just did a huge refactor. What kind of games are you working on? If you got a raid and run, no worries. Don't feel like you gotta hang around and answer my questions. I'm usually fairly curious about what people are doing. Yeah, we're working on a new input model. You know, honestly, I probably should get the cutaway system working before I do my input model. But we're working on a new input model that's kind of like raycast based, because right now we lock into a particular Z level. You can kind of see as I just scroll through here. We're locked into particular Z levels, which is good for building, but I want to try a different system that like casts a ray from the camera and then figures out what surface we're pointing at. And that will help with our extrude everything, kind of build by extrusion kind of deal that it looks like we're kind of working towards. Space. Yes, A. Then good games, you're also taking some FTL inspo. Nice. More auto battler and reverse deck builder in space. In space. I think of the classic Tim Curry Red Alert cinematic where he's like, time to escape to the one place not ruined by capitalism. Space. We love Tim Curry. That's awesome. I can't wait to check out some of your stuff. I would love some more FTL-like games. Void War was cool, but I would love to see some more. Yeah, we're kind of going in maybe a more RimWorld-y direction for our FTL-like. We don't call it the Red Planet for nothing. There you go. All right. So we were thinking about cursor priority. Like if you've moused over a block, that block has 3 blocks that share a face, essentially, that would have priority. So we kind of need to do this kind of scan forward, where we need to, like, if we're considering a block, we should do this in reverse. So we should check to see if a block is here, and then check the 3 blocks behind that, and then check the 3 blocks behind that. And then check the 1 block behind that. Something like that. And we'll build a hit list out of that, and then we'll constrain the distance of that raycast using the scroll wheel. I think that's how we're going to do this. That sounds about right. Priority 1. Do I want to have this kind of... Sapphire, you think you're heading out and play a bit of Raiders? Nice, nice. Good luck out there with the raiding. Don't trust anyone. Wait, why am I drawing 1 again? We're on 2. How does my 2 work? Is it like that? Yeah. I like diagramming things. It's kind of a waste of time, but since I spend so much time explaining what I'm trying to do, it kind of helps me. I also think I'm very much a visual thinker. I really struggle to understand something that I can't see in front of me. That's Z, not 2. Important difference. But yeah, welcome. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the raid, dang good games. Thank you for hanging out, any raiders who decided to stick around with us here. We stream 5 days a week. We're in the middle. This is our middle of the week here, right? Because it's Thursday. Yeah, so we'll be back. We'll be streaming again Friday and Saturday. We're still going strong though right now. Probably wrap it up relatively soon, but we're still going. We're still going. We're cooking. All right, that's my 3. There's still more to do here. Oh, that's wrong. There we go. Coming in here and checking in. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. For anyone who's interested, we have VODs over on YouTube. We also stream on YouTube, and that's where all the VODs go. We have a Discord, an itch, where we put our Game Jam games. I love streaming Game Jams. I don't have any on the calendar anytime soon, but spring is gonna be good for Game Jams. We're kind of in our winter period here. What's the 4 look like? Oh, that is not a traditional 4 for me. Is that really what my 4 looks like? Yeah, font block. Oh yeah, it is, huh? Oh, I made little tiny versions of the numbers. That's cute. I don't remember doing that. I made lowercase numbers. When did I do that? I don't know if I like those, but you know, I'm drawing them. I was like, wait, when did that happen? All right, so here's our block priority. Priority 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, let's bring that beat back.
I'm gonna add the priority numbers to the side here. I think this is gonna help me. I'm not sure.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp. Who is that? Oh, A the Ant. Thanks for hopping over to the redeem. Happy New Year's, everyone. Persistence. Persistence is going to be the watchword for this year. Time zones are funky. True. True. You've been lurking. Hey, Rhiannon Journey. You've got to head out. Thanks for the stream. Welcome all the new people. I did a Discord push earlier, but I'll do another one. If anyone's interested in following along with the games and the streams, get alerts. '26 is going to be our year, you know? Oh. What am I doing? What am I doing, chat? You can tell when I'm at the end of the stream because I just pick a weird random diagramming problem. I'm like overdoing like real work for the day. Song is a banger though. Still kicking, that's us. That's the name of the song. We're still kicking. All right. 111 222 333. Oh, 2s are here as well. This will help me with faces. Then good games. Boy, you feel that? Your end of stream is slow and steady. Yeah. Yeah, I try to do about 3 hours. I don't usually get any farther than that. I don't understand these people who stream for like 6 to 8 hours or whatever. I think I could do 4 maybe. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a muscle. You build it up, right? I've been doing this new thing where I diagram pretty much everything I work on. And it's helped a lot. It's helped me be very clear with myself what I'm doing. It also helps explain it when people hop in and they're like, what are we working on? I'm getting more into it. I don't do a lot of planning, so I don't have a lot of planning docs to share or anything. I'm more of an iterative. I don't really believe that a plan... I'm one of those people who say planning is essential, but a plan is useless. One of those guys. I don't remember who said that. Probably Karl von Clausewitz or some shit. Oh god, it's late. You should definitely be sleeping. You should. It is late. It is late for the stream. We are almost never live this long. All right, that's priority 3. We'll just do priority 4 here. This isn't right, is it? Maybe it is. All right, yeah, so we got priority 4, priority 3, priority 2. Oh, I missed some of the 2s, huh? And then we'll model this tomorrow and try to get this working. I want to get this working before we restore the cutaway system because I feel like this cursor thing is going to have a huge impact on how the cutaway system works. I mean, maybe it won't, but I have this feeling. All right, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Well, I guess it doesn't really apply to the blocks per se. I actually think I should, what I should do here. This is wrong. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to erase these sections of this. And we're going to only leave the part that remains. That was a stupid statement. We're going to get rid of the faces that are outside of the buildable area. Not buildable area. That is outside of the priority 1 cube area. Did I do this right? Almost. Trimmed it a little too sharply here. The idea is that, so this one as well down here. I kind of just want to look at the faces that will be looked at. I kind of don't want all this extra stuff. Because we're really just looking at one block and how it relates to the blocks next to it. See, so it's like an inversion. So this is priority 1, which is the convex faces of this block. And then priority 2 are the concave faces of the blocks behind it. I guess I could have left the blocks there, but I think this is fine. And then 3 are going to be the concave faces behind, or the convex. We're back to convex again, I think. 3 is weird, so I guess 3 is an interesting case, huh? Maybe I should have not been so hasty. Maybe I should leave the blocks, but not mark them. Like this. Just make it a little easier to see what block we're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was a little too overzealous. That's It's okay, it happens. Thanks for the raccoon. That's a cute raccoon. Rack attack. Nice. I like that. What the heck did I do? Something's wrong. Oh, I see. I see what's wrong. Whoa. Regular line, please. Thank you. Okay, that's better. What we're going to do here is we're just going to cover up the number. Trash panda. Yep. We do like our good trash pandas. Oh. Everyone likes a trash panda. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of interesting. We're going to need to know where within the blocks we are. We need to know like if we hit the priority 3 block here, we need to know whether we're hitting the Z face or the X face, which will be easy to tell, but we do need to know it because that will matter quite a bit. So priority 4. So in a 2x2 grid, this has the lowest priority. These then have the next highest priority. These then have the next highest priority. And then this is the highest priority. And so we can just kind of... we can either jump to the end and look back, or we can just go forward. And we can check all these faces. Or we can check this block first, whatever block this is. And then we can check behind it. That's probably what we'll do. We'll probably check this, then check these, then check these. And then the priority 4 one is the same as the priority 1. So that restarts the process. So the priority 4 block is basically the same as a priority 1 block, just behind it. You know, that's actually not that bad. So we're going to need to check 1 block, and then 3 more. So we'll be checking 1 block. Oh my god. 1 block. Then 3 more. And then 3 more. And then 1 more. So it's 8 blocks, essentially. And then that's the start of a new... well, calling it 8 blocks is misleading. But I think I understand how we're going to advance through the block space. I think I get it. I think I understood before I did the diagram, but, you know, in my mind, it's helpful to do the diagram. I know it's kind of boring. But I think that sets us up well for the work we're going to do tomorrow. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to look for a raid target here. I don't normally raid. However, when we get raided, I think we got to try to pay it forward. Real question is anyone even making games right now? Let me check my team. I really appreciate everyone hanging out today. Let's check the indie game dev team. Okay, there's a few people. CryKit is streaming. CryKit's cool. So is Ionima. They're playing a game. There's the Witch is playing a game. Okay, the only one I know who's actually doing game dev is CryKit, so that's probably where we're going. Can you raid Tempura Cat Games? They'll start stream soon. Yeah, if they start soon, yeah. Let me look for them. Tempura Cat Games. Oh, they are live. They're live now. Oh, they're starting soon. Yeah, let's jump in. Let's jump in there. They are live. I'm not even gonna make you get the Raid Master channel point redeem. We're just gonna do it because I don't have any other real targets. All right, let's set that up.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Bitlit will be on in a few minutes. He said he's running a little late, but boom.
Yeah, this was fun. First raid of this first stream of the year, first raid of the year, both raiding in and raiding out. I think we're off to a strong start.
I am going to do some quick sound design work, so I apologize if any loud sounds are made.
All right.
That I need like it's a good sound.
But yeah, I appreciate everyone who has decided to spend part of their day here. If you can, ship them if you got them. That's our typical raid message.
Whoever you are, hope you're doing it very well.
If you can't ship it, you know,
Some kind of like
do we can.
Jake.
But yeah, be nice, be curious, and we'll be back tomorrow for more. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Let's try this.
Maximum warp.
Oh, hello. How are you doing? I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. Let me see if I can pronounce that name. DIGITAL ILIAD. Something like that. How are you guys doing? Oh, hello, A the Ant. What are you doing here? I am just getting started on my stream, doing a little sound